Hello guys, how's everyone doing today on this beautiful sunny day like we have here? It's sunny and it's like wow, really incredible, right? It's a nice weather to go outside, but yeah, we have some strict rules now here in Germany and also in many other countries where there are like restrictions, and some countries like we here in Germany, we are facing something like a half quarantine. Is that like a full quarantine? You can still go outside, but you have like restrictions, right? Like here, for example, it can only be two people at once together, and you need to keep a distance to other people of at least 1.5 meters. And a lot of like businesses are now closed. I can't even go to the barber shop to get a new haircut. And it's just growing like crazy, and you can't even go and buy summer clothes or anything. And now it's really getting hot here. Even now I feel super hot because the temperatures are just rising like crazy. But there are now like a lot of restrictions, and there are also more and more people that are now at home because they can no longer go to their companies. Also, car manufacturers now, they have also their workers all on break. So a lot of people are now at home, and some are on full quarantine, some are on like half quarantine or restrictions, as I call this, half quarantine. And yeah, it's quite boring, and I actually want to talk about what I'm doing and what I've been experiencing so far during those 2+ weeks where this law actually happened here with those restrictions. And what I did like for the majority of the time was of course working on videos for YouTube, but I've been also playing a lot of video games recently, especially Minecraft and Elder Scrolls Online. And there are also some other nice games that I would like to try out. And I feel like to not be bored, like a good solution for that is of course video games, and watching movies also helps. Before, a lot of people were so busy, like I had like a friend and he wanted to actually watch a lot of movies, especially those Marvel movies with the superheroes and stuff, and he always complained to me like how his work kept him so busy that he couldn't even read a book or watch a movie. And he has been texting me on WhatsApp that now he has the time to finish like some Iron Man series and stuff like that, and other sort of movies, and read books suddenly. And I mean, yeah, to read books, play video games, watch videos, that's a nice way to spend the time and not to be super bored. But what you can also do, especially here in Germany and in some of those countries with those half restrictions, those half quarantines, like we're still allowed to go outside, but only one or two people at a time. And I have the luck to actually live next to a forest. It's just like a 5 minutes walk to there. And it's really nice to go outside, even if you're by yourself or with just like one friend or relative, and you walk in nature like the forest and stuff. And I've actually noticed like two really weird things recently when I went to the forest like the other day. And for some reason, it's like super crowded in the forest, and it's more than it was before these restrictions and this half quarantine. Before, if I walked for like 2-3 minutes, like 1 to 4 people would pass me or something. Now I sometimes have like 5 or 6 people pass me within like 1.5 or 2 minutes. So it's like almost like double the amount of people now in the forest and also in parks. And I'm not blaming them, and I do get where this is coming from, because now a lot of people are so bored at home and they're going crazy behind their walls. And there's just like, if you're in a room for too long and you don't see the outside, or you have nothing to do, or you already played video games for hours or watched all sorts of movies, you end up getting bored and you go outside. So I do understand why it's so crowded there. But fortunately, we have very big roads there. They're very wide, so to keep like a 1.5 to 2 meter distance is easy, because those roads are like 4.5 to like 5 meters or something wide, so it's still easy to keep the distance, right? But I've noticed something also really beautiful and at the same time scary. Like now that a lot of companies are shut down, there's like little traffic. And when I walk like 20 minutes into the forest, there's like this one big highway that they built in the middle of the forest that goes through. And before, if you walk this path, it is super noisy. You hear like a lot of cars, motorcycles, and it's super noisy, right? And like 2 days ago, when I walked by there, it was super quiet, and I could hear bird sounds and how the leaves were moving from the wind, and I heard sounds that I have never ever heard at this part of the forest before. And that just shows how scary our influence on nature is, like how traffic actually disturbs the forest and the sounds, and how without that it's so peaceful. And so I sit down on that one bench over there, and then I just close my eyes and I just listen to nature, and I was like, wow. So is that how it would sound like if there were no people on this planet and nature would be just to animals? Like, that was freaking, it was calming and relaxing and beautiful, but at the same time it was scary because I realized on how much we're actually impacting nature and how disturbing we are, especially with traffic. Like, that's so freaking crazy, right? And yeah, what I also do at home is I actually recently have a lot of phone calls with people. I ended up talking to my grandma a lot, every day to every second day actually. And before I would meet her like 2 or 3 times a month, what isn't much. Like, I actually plan to visit my grandma more often, but recently I'm actually more in touch with her than before, because I don't know if it's because I'm scared and worried about her, because some people are more affected if they get infected, right? And she's like one of those people at risk. And I just realized like also how precious life is and free time during this crisis here. Because before we took everything for granted, right? To walk outside, to drive a car, to have a job. But now if you're facing such situation, everything becomes more important. Even a friendship is suddenly so important. Like before, if someone texts me or I talked to someone or met someone, it was just something like a normal thing. It was like, oh yeah, good to see you, kind of like that, right? And now, like literally when someone calls me or I see someone, I end up smiling and I feel happy to see that person or talk to that person. And it somehow changed me. And I did also have like some negative moments during this restrictions, this half quarantine, where I actually was in my room and I felt sort of depressed because I was like, damn, now I was like 4 or 5 days home and I didn't go out and I didn't see anyone. I haven't met my friends for weeks and it's just so weird. And then I was like feeling down sort of, and I feel like a lot of people are feeling that way during this crisis, right? But then, like a day later, it was all gone, all those negative feelings, because I suddenly had a distraction. Like I had like a game to play or a video to watch, or I suddenly just took my bicycle, and I took it and I did ride in the forest with it. Or I went like jogging or taking walks, and then it was still cool. Or I actually ended up cooking together with my mom something, and we had like a nice dinner together, and we bought some groceries and did like a cooking day. And that's also fun actually, to cook meals instead of buy them at home. I mean, cooking does take time, and some meals maybe you need like 30 or 40 minutes or sometimes even an hour in the kitchen. But it's actually also fun to cook during these restrictions or quarantine. And it's fun, and if you have like relatives or you live with someone or you have a partner that you live with, you also get closer to them that way. Because before maybe you go to work or you do your other things and you wouldn't be so much with your family or with your partner, right? And now it's the time to actually be closer to the closed ones as well, right? And also the fear a lot of people are having about losing their grandparents or older parents. I feel like actually the bonds between people after this crisis, they will be stronger because you value people more and you also value the contact more, right? But yeah, my advice for you guys, if you do have some nature and you have the opportunity to go outside because you don't have super strict restrictions, go take a walk sometimes in nature and try to listen to the nature sounds and stuff, or just do some sports. And if you live with someone or you have a close friend and you are allowed to be two, like we are, go and take that person and just take your bike and ride it, or go jogging, or just to take a walk somewhere. Go on a picnic for two and put down a blanket on the grass, take some sandwiches from home or some tea or something, and just chill in nature and just wait it out. Because it's just temporary. Like, we already see such a huge impact on the economics, so I give it several weeks till like maybe a few months, and then stuff will open more. Maybe people will wear a mask, that's what I'm guessing, and maybe there's a law on where you must go out with a mask, and I can live with that personally. But I do hope that also soon stuff gets back to normal, because even though I manage and a lot of people manage at home, there are days where you feel down or depressed because you can't do stuff that you are used to, and restrictions, they make you feel like, can I actually compare that to like make you feel like in some sort of jail or like a prison, like you are like locked away from the normal life or something. It does feel like that sometimes to me a little bit, because those restrictions, they make me feel less free, especially if I'm used to freedom like I am. But yeah, what we need to do now is just be patient and wait it out, and sooner or later things will return back to normal. Like even in the historical events that happened with a lot of flus and other stuff that was like happening in this world, they all overcame this too, right? And things returned back to normal. So I feel like the same is now with our situation, where eventually things will become normal again. But yeah, you guys please stay safe and healthy, and I wish you guys a good day. See you guys next time.